Hello, my friend. I am very excited to film today's video because I was so digging on the aesthetics of the new Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette, the colors, everything. But the big question is it worth your money? Is it actually a good palette, or is it only just packaging, name? Like, does it just look pretty? We're about to find out. If that sounds interesting to you, hang tight. We're getting into it right now. I actually wasn't going to film this because I thought that there would be a plethora of videos on this palette at this point, and there are quite a few, but I do feel like I have some information to add to those reviews, and that is why I am here reviewing the Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette by Manny MUA. I will tell you that this is only the second time I have worn this on my eyes, so this is more of a first impression rather than a full review, but I did want to get it up to you because we're getting closer to Halloween, and this is a Halloween themed palette, and if I take another week or two, a point is over. So we're just jumping into it, and let's go ahead and get started with everything you need to know about this palette. So you can purchase this palette at lunarbeauty.com and Beauty Bay. I did not see it at Sephora, even though I do know that Lunar Beauty is sold at Sephora online. I did not see it there, maybe because it's such a limited launch. I don't know, but it is not at Sephora, at least the last time that I checked. It is made in the USA with domestic or imported ingredients, is what it says. The shelf life listed on this is 12 months. It does have a PETA bunny on the back of the palette, so they are PETA certified, cruelty-free. I didn't see anywhere on here that says that it is officially vegan, but I know that that's something that Manny's talked about multiple times, that he does use all vegan ingredients. And I did look at the eyeshadow formula, and I did not see anything that appeared to be not vegan. There's no carmine, there's no beeswax, there's nothing that seems like it's not vegan. So I would imagine that this is a vegan product, even though it doesn't specifically say on here. Now for brand controversies, I did have to get this video up very, very quickly, so I did not have time to compile all of the brand controversies, so I will put some relevant links for you down in the description box below. It's one of those things where some people really care about the background of the brand and the brand owner, and Manny MUA has stepped in it a couple of times. So if you're interested in, Manny's history and if that influences your purchases, links are going to be down below. Let's talk a little bit more about the product. So let's talk about the packaging first, which is my personal favorite part. This packaging is gorgeous, and it is very heavy packaging. Even though it is cardboard, it feels like it's made out of book material. So you can see with the outer box, it does have almost like this book filigree looking stuff on the outside, and it looks like the spine of a book here, and all of your ingredients back here, a nice little message from Manny MUA there. And then when you pull it out, I mean, the attention to detail on here is absolutely ridiculous. So we've got some sparrows over here. We've got the moon for Lunar Beauty. We've got an eyeball and some skulls and some bugs and a snake. And then we've got, the book looking over here. The back is really, really cool. It's got these two hands here. And if you can see the very top here, the hand has kind of like a sky print on it. And down here, it's got like an ocean print with some stars down here on this one, which I thought was such a cool touch. And then in the middle, here's the sun. And then these are the different phases of the moon. I don't know. I just thought that was really, really neat and a very cool, very quiet touch that you wouldn't really notice if you weren't looking at it. The other thing that I love about this is the little faux lock here. This does poof out a bit where everything else, all the rest of this print is inset. This does feel a bit like a shiny, more smooth material, where this is more rough here. So you've got that, and then the letters here are also smooth, but then the lock part does pop out just a little bit. And if you look on the not the spine, but on this side here, it looks like it's got book pages, like the gold book pages. Just the attention to detail is insane. And then you've got the back of the lock on here. I mean, It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Manny chose to name all of the shadows after fictional witches, mostly from television and movies. So he's got like Sabrina the Teenage Witch in here. He's got Halloween Town. He's got the Sanderson sisters. He's got the sisters from Charmed in here. I mean, just such a cute idea to do that and honor these different witches. And the shades, as you can see, are mostly purples, greens, and browns. Let's talk a little bit about value. The value of this is similar to Manny's other palettes. There's 15 shades in here like he does in all of his palettes. It's a $48 palette and there's 18.75 grams of product in here, which leads you to $2.56 per gram. Now that only matters if you plan on hitting pan, if you plan on using this all the way through. But just for comparison's sake, this compares monetarily to like a Too Faced eyeshadow palette. It's very much in the range for the price per gram for what you would see at Sephora. Again, there's 15 shadows in here, so that leads us to $3.20 per pan, which again is pretty average for Sephora. There's 0.8 grams of product per pan, which is a little bit on the smaller side than a lot of palettes, but it is bigger than, let's say, an ABH eyeshadow pan as far as how much product you are probably getting in this. Of course, the grams of product is not an exact science. Some formulas way more than others, so it's not an exact science, it's just kind of a general idea. The end game here is that it does seem to be a fair price and a fair amount of product compared to other products sold at Sephora. Just a little bit of an ingredient analysis. There's nothing in here that I haven't seen in other eyeshadow formulas. There's nothing weird that stands out. It is mica and talc based. This is not marketed as a lip palette, but there are some shadows in here that are not lip safe that I just wanted to mention in case you like to tap eyeshadows on your lips. I know I do that occasionally. So let's hold this up and I will tell you Prue, Sabrina, Sarah, Mary, Samantha, Bonnie, Marnie, Nancy, and Fiona all contain pigments in them that are not lip safe according to the FDA. Now, like the rest of Manny's palettes, of course, there are shadows in here that are not FDA approved for eye use. Typically, they are called pressed pigments because that's a fabulous marketable name for something that is not meant to be used on your eyes. But it is important to note that these would be considered eye safe in the EU. Some people believe that the FDA is just way behind in these regulations and that they are eye safe. I do know that some of my audience, people that watch my videos, are sensitive to these and cause them allergic reactions, staining on the eyes, things like that. So I do want to let you know that the shades that are not technically FDA approved for eye use are Piper, Phoebe, Paige, Sabrina, Samantha, and Fiona. So there you go. All right, at this point, it is time to show you some swatches of the palette. We're gonna do finger and brush swatches. Let's get into those right now. Now that you've seen the swatches, it's time to see a demo of how I got this look today. Very, very fun. The last time I used this, I mostly stuck to kind of these browns and the shimmery goodness over here. This time I really wanted to go in hard with the greens and the purples and yes, just like no holds barred, just color it all up. So if that sounds like fun to watch how I got this look, that's what's coming up right now.
Wish I could feel what I can't see. Float like a butterfly, scream like a banshee. Something's hiding in the pantry, but I can't find it, so would you please enchant me? Give me a potion for my devotion to the emotion. I've yet to surrender to tales of forever, but never say never, my dear. Can you make me believe it at night when I call for the magic? 'Cause I just wanna feel it when things go bump in the attic, baby. Like a rabbit pulled from a hat, all that any true love can ask. Can you help me to see it? 'Cause I want to believe in the magic. Cast all your spells onto me. Touch me with your wand till the light shines through me. Come on, baby, let's get spooky. I don't know if it's real, but I want it to be. If there's an omen, I wanna know when my eyes are open. I've yet to surrender to tales of forever, but never say never, my dear. Can you make me believe it at night when I call for the magic? 'Cause I just wanna feel it when things go bump in the attic, baby. Like a rabbit pulled from a hat, all that any true love can ask. Can you help me to see it? 'Cause I want to believe in the magic. Fairy tales and sleeping beauties, magic like what's in the movies. Want to know it absolutely like you do.
So I'm not sure if you noticed, but the purple shades that were in my crease, I do feel like applied a bit patchy. Also, I didn't feel like the lid shades applied as vibrantly as I thought they might. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that I really was thinking as I was putting it on how nice it would have been to have a green, very light, very sparkly kind of shade for the inner corner, but he only gave us a purple. So that was just, you know, something that I would have liked in the moment but didn't have, so I thought that I would mention it. So with that being said, it is time for me to take my leave of you. It is what time? Late. It is 3:37 in the PM. And I've got stuff to do, so I'm gonna go do that. And I will be back in about 7 to 8 hours and we'll check and see how the eyeshadow wore for the day. So that'll just be a second for you. It'll be lots and lots of hours for me. And that's happening right now. Day is done. Total missed opportunity. I forgot to use some of the very cool magic that I have. I don't know if I've ever showed you this magic. Maybe I have, maybe a little bit, but let's do a little bit. Zeep, 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 zeep. Soup. Effects are fun. All right, so I posted a picture of this look on Twitter and on Instagram, and I got tons of questions about what was on my lips, so I just want to show you that very quickly. I pretty much only do lip combos at this point because it's so much easier than finding the exact lip color that I want. I grab something and then I mess with it until it gets right. So what I was wearing on my lips earlier today is the CoverGirl Queen Major Shade in Major Moment, and I topped that with Too Faced's Sex on the Peach, which looks like this, and it is one of my favorite cool toned lipsticks. It cools down anything that is just a bit too warm. So this was the color combo on my lips. So now that I've told you that, let us look at the eye look and see how we're looking right now. Check the lasting power. It is currently 11:15, 11:20, so we're at about the 8-hour mark. What do you see, my friend? I think it looks pretty good. It was never really vibrant. If I had to do this video again, I would probably have used the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas with this because it is white instead of my MAC Paint Pot in Painterly, because I feel like this would have made the colors pop a bit more. Also, I feel like the shade Bonnie was a lot more yellow than it was green on my lid. I wish it was just a little bit more green, but maybe set against different colors, it may look a little more green than it did on my lids. I felt like I had more of a rainbow look than what I was looking for. I was really looking for green and purple, and I ended up with yellow and green and pink and purple, which made it more rainbow. A lot of these purples also came off as quite pink, so it's not a bad thing. It's just something to keep in mind when you're purchasing this. As far as lasting power, I do feel like this isn't the best lasting power that I've seen in Lunar Beauty products. I do feel like Life's a Drag had really great lasting power, and the Strawberry Dream palette also had really good. I felt like this one didn't last quite as long on the eyes. It's not bad though. Like if I was working an 8-hour shift, I feel like at the end of the night or the end of the day, my eyeshadow would be okay. It would be fine. It doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look as good as some other eyeshadows that I've used in the past, including previous Lunar Beauty purchases that I've made. Now, like I mentioned before, last time I used the shade Prue all over my lid. I used a lot of it, and I did have a lot of glitter fallout with Prue, but as far as the other glitter shades, I haven't had as big of a problem with it. I think it's because there's just so much glitter in this. I would imagine if I used a lot of Phoebe, that would also have a lot of glitter fallout because it's a similar formula. I do want to mention I have not yet used the shade Samantha, so I do want to mention that. I've used all of the rest of these shades, and overall it is a good palette, and I'm very thankful to have it. I love the color selection, even though I am picking on it as far as the way that they perform on the eyes, that they're not. The purples really have a lot of pink in them. I do really like these colors together. I thought it would be a lot harder to get the greens and the purples to work together, but I felt like it worked out pretty well. I'm actually pretty happy with it. It's also nice to have all these brown choices in here to kind of play with. So if you're like a more natural kind of eyeshadow person, then you can use these natural colors over here and just use a pop of either green or purple or both. The only critique as far as the browns is I wish that there was a little bit something deeper in here, something deeper than Kiki and Samantha here. I do, however, appreciate this cool toned brown here because it really opens up the options of things that you can do. I know Manny said that he didn't want to put a black in because, you know, there's black in so many different eyeshadow palettes and he wanted to do something else, and I'm cool with that. I'm totally fine with that. But I would have appreciated just a deeper brown. That would have been awesome. And I talked about earlier how I think maybe instead of Hermione here, maybe we could have gotten this but in green. That would have been amazing. But overall, honestly, I think that it is a very unique color story. It's fun to play with. Lasting power is pretty good, like I said. And I'm just really thankful to have this like I am with most Lunar Beauty products. There hasn't been a Lunar Beauty palette that I have not enjoyed. I didn't get the Goddess one. That's the only one that I don't own. I mean, the formula overall is just good. At this point, my friend, it is your turn. In the collective brain of makeup awesomeness, it is your turn to share your thoughts on what I showed you today and or your personal experiences with the palette. Have you tried it? What do you think? If you haven't tried it, are you planning on trying it? Are you planning on purchasing it? I want to know all of the things down in the comments down below, and read down there, comment to each other. Let's be a big old community down there. If somebody helps you, if you like someone's comment, give them a little thumbs up. It only takes a second and it can make somebody's day. And while you're doing that, you can thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, and that tells YouTube that they should share this video with more people. And while you're clicking things, if you would like to continue hanging out on the channel, YouTube should be recommending a video for you right down there to watch if you would like to hang out a little longer. If for some reason you gotta go, no problem at all. Thank you so much for hanging out as long as you did. Mad love to you, and I will see you in a video very, very soon. Bye!